This is Adam Watson.
And Elias Spainhauer.
You're listening to the Darkslinger Mafia podcast. So we're doing this one a little bit differently, as you might have been able to tell if you just heard that pothole. We're recording this in the car while we're on our way back from the Frankenstein comic book swap. We're going to test out how it works doing the podcast on the road, and if it doesn't sound very good, well, then this will be the last time we do this. So, Elias, go ahead and give us your thoughts. This is the first time that you've done a Frankenstein that was just solely a Frankenstein. The last time we did it, it was Frankenstein and crossing over with the Vancouver Toy Junkies.
Yeah.
But this one was just pure Frankenstein in their normal location at the Eagles Lodge in Portland, Oregon. So what were your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. There's a lot of comics there, and it was packed, like completely packed.
Almost
made it hard to look through things.
It's really difficult to know how many people come to that show because it's a very small venue. So you don't know if it's just a sea of people or it's just doesn't take much before it's like a can of sardines.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like it's packed clear up until, I'd say the die-off time is generally at about 3:30 to 4 for that show. 3:30 to 4 kind of seems to be when the people are kind of clearing out.
Yeah.
So I had thought that it was a show that got over at 5. And I'm not honestly sure why it goes until 6. Because it does seem like everybody that wants to shop there is pretty much done by 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we pretty much just had vendors coming by after 5, pretty much.
Right. Which, hey, we still made some sales that way.
Oh, yeah. Very true.
And it does give you a few moments to go look at something that you might not have been able to before because it would have been so busy.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, a lot of that one dude who always packs up early, he's been at a lot of the shows. But yeah, he packed up at like 3:30, I think, or something like that.
At 3:30? I'm not sure which guy you're talking about off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He was at one of the Sasquatches. He was right across from us by the door where the old lady took a nap after he left.
Right.
Because he left early.
So, I think Frankenstein's a wonderfully ran show. We always make money there. The amount of money we make there is pretty consistent. It's not one that's geared towards getting your independent comics out, but I did sell a copy of Who Will Save the World today. So I definitely consider that a win because anytime I set up at a show where I'm slinging long boxes of comics for, 50 cents a piece plus, I don't really expect to sell any Darkslinger products.
But you always got to have it there.
I always got to have it there because I got to have it represented. If I'm going to be at the show, it's pointless to not represent.
Exactly.
So the fact that I did sell the Who Will Save the World made me very, very happy. But Frankenstein's an incredibly ran show. It's well put together, well ran. The only complaint I have about it as a show is I wish the music would be turned down.
Yeah, it was insanely too loud.
Yes, it's cool that they have their own DJ. And even though the music is nothing like what I personally want to hear, I can deal with it just fine being at a show, but it is very loud. It's loud to the point where it's hard to hear what other people are saying when you're talking to them. Yeah,
well, especially like if they're like quiet or like not really wanting to scream at you even though you're a foot away.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have to scream to hear people in general, and especially not because the music is louder than what the crowd is. If it's that you're screaming over the crowd, that's one thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But there are too many shows that we do that provide background music.
That is true. Normally it's just the general hum of people talking. Yeah,
and they have a live DJ there.
Yeah.
Which does give it a more interesting spin than if they were just playing something off their iPod.
Very true. Oh, and I think that guy was also at the other Frankenstein I went to when they were with the Toy Junkies. But he had his own little one speaker in his turntable, and he was in the very back corner, so he wasn't like blasting it too horribly loud.
Right.
But this one, he had a whole system to hook up to with big ass speakers, so it was definitely turned up a bit.
Yeah. So it seemed like it was a great show for us. We had a good time. We made a lot of money.
Found a lot of stuff.
I did get a little tired of hearing our neighbor complain, though.
Which one?
I don't know if you heard him or not, but the guy who was directly behind us.
Okay.
was complaining an hour into the show and didn't quit the whole time. And went through, I would say, about 7 beers during the time he was back there.
Oh, that guy.
So he kept bumping into me. You know, he was a bit obnoxious. And he's a local comic shop owner, so I would have thought he would have wanted to present himself in a more respectable fashion.
Right.
But he didn't. He was at least a little bit drunk by the time we left, it would seem.
Oh, and he didn't even buy the booze that was at the lodge.
No, he brought his own.
He brought his own, yeah.
And had it stowed away behind there. About an hour into it, he had declared that there were more people at the last show in November, which I call bullshit on.
Yeah.
There were the same amount, if not a little bit more, at this show. He stated that people didn't seem like they were spending as much money. Well, his money all comes from high-end books.
Yeah.
And he wasn't selling any of the high-end books. You should never count when you're doing a show as a reseller on just selling high-end books.
Yeah.
Simplistic fact is, you don't have a cross-selection of things for everybody's price range. You're missing out on a ton of money.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not saying don't take the high-end books. By all means, take them if that's your thing. But you should have things in, like, the dollar section, too, because dollar books in a long box will add up to $100 quickly.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been one thing had he just been complaining to other con vendors.
Yeah.
But attendees that came up that would ask him, how's your day going? You don't have to lie to the people. You can say, you know, it's going okay or, you know, something like that, but you don't have to say it's going fantastic if you don't think it's going fantastic.
Right.
But I don't think if you're the first person that people are coming up to and the way his table was set up,
it kind of
that's a distinct possibility that's what was happening. I don't think you should immediately start bitching about the show.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing.
Oh, my God.
So I could hear him behind me, and he told the people who had came in, they'd asked, you know, if there was good stuff to be found and all that. And he said he didn't think so because he had made $600 by this time at the last show. He was in the same spot he was in the last time, and so was I.
Yeah.
He did not make $600 in the first hour of the last show. So I really don't get why people inflate the numbers that they do at conventions so badly, but I've noticed it with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's just utter BS on that part.
Right? I've never seen you do that. There's no reason to lie about it.
No. And sometimes you don't do shows for the net profit of it. There are other reasons to do shows. One of the things I love about being at Frankenstein, honestly, is it's an all-day shopping trip where I have a place to go and hang out behind a table when I don't feel like shopping.
Yeah.
So you did some shopping day too. Why don't you tell us what you got?
Oh, wow. I got the first trade paperback of iZombie. I got trade paperback of Umbrella Academy, which everybody was telling me it's good. I read the back and it seemed like it was really interesting. So, and I picked up, oh God, what is the name of that one? The first one that I picked up?
You picked up Witch Doctor.
Ah, Witch Doctor, yes.
By our good friend Lucas Kettner.
Yes, and oh my God, I loved it. Like, the artwork is amazing. I just love the whole idea.
Lucas is a phenomenal artist.
And I love the whole idea behind the mixing science with mythological stuff. It just, that's why I like Manifest Destiny so much.
Right.
It's the same kind of idea, but this one's more supernatural that everybody knows about rather than discovering it firsthand. Like,
right.
Yeah. And then apparently you found me some Lobos. What was that? What is it? The Intergalactic Bum?
Bob the Intergalactic Bum.
Bob the Intergalactic Bum. Yeah.
Yeah, the guest starred Lobo.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. That seems like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I found more comic interview type magazines. I actually found quite a few that Tomorrow's Press published today, like Draw Magazine and back issues and things like that. And I don't find a lot of Tomorrows at a lot of these shows. I find quite a few comic book journals and Comic Interview, which was a book that was put out in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I don't find very much that's put out by Tomorrow, so it was pretty cool today being able to find so many of them that were put out by Tomorrows. Finding them for $1 a piece was a still in my eyes.
Oh, yeah. For your creator crack.
Right. I found those. I picked up a Conan trade paperback for $5 and a stack of Elementals for $20. Looking forward to finally having the Elementals series all complete so I can finally sit down and read it.
Oh, yeah. And Kate found some good stuff, too.
Yeah, Kate came and hung out with us for a while, and she found some good stuff. My kids showed up and hung out with us for a little while, and they found some good stuff. So
a bunch of Funko Pops.
Yeah, Jolie and Bob, way too many Funko Pops. But yeah, I think overall the day went great.
Yeah.
I was happy with it, happy with the show. And
I was happy when Kate and Emily showed up, too, because then we could both leave the table.
Right.
It felt like we could just go do whatever we want.
Exactly.
It was nice. And at that time, or by the time Emily showed up, everything was slowing down, so you actually had a chance to look through everything.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to the next Frankenstein show, which is going to happen in June.
Yeah, June 9th?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'll check the date.
I'm pretty sure.
But I'm pretty sure that it's June 9th.
Because I remember, because it's like halfway to my birthday.
Right.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, we'll update on that as it draws closer.
Yeah.
We should have some convention announcements to be making next week. In other Darkslinger news, I have been posting the character designs for the Little Lay Mime and the Mini Darkslingers. I'm just calling it at the moment. That's a tentative title. That's not the actual title. But I posted 2 character designs this week. I posted the Little Lay Mime and I posted the Little Todd. And I have designs for Little David, Melissa, the Pauper, Sally, and Robert Von Helsing from the Chronicles Von Helsing. What did you think of those?
Oh, I have a feeling this is going to be adorable and awesome all at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic.
They turned out great.
Patrick's doing a great job on the designs. He seems to be very in tune with what I'm wanting for this, which is something that's very Calvin and Hobbes inspired, but not a direct ripoff of Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
So we have a few more character designs to go, and then we're going to get working on that. But the strip we're going to be working on first isn't going to be published first because it's going to be a Christmas short that was actually the first thing I wrote out for this. And I just want that to be able to be posted during Christmas. So
yeah,
I would prefer to get that done and then start doing the strips that come before it and what I get posted before Christmas, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome, but the Christmas one needs to have as much focus as possible.
Yeah.
Because for some reason it's just very important to the strip.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea too. I just love the idea of all your characters in like grade school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lay Mime, David, Todd, Melissa, Katie from the Principalities, they're all approximately in 3rd grade. Sally from Chronicles Von Helsing is a kindergartner. And the Pauper is an upperclassman. He's a 4th grader. So he's bigger than Lay Mime and he's a bully. Even though he's a hero in his own book. He's a bully in this one.
Well, Lamine's not really a hero, but now he's kind of like the underdog.
Right? Yeah, so there's just a few more character designs to go. And we are going to be introducing some adults in this because some of the Darkslinger characters that you know as adults will be remaining adults in this strip. So page number 3 from El Bovine Muerte issue number 4 posted this week. Did you have a chance to check it out yet?
I did not.
I think it looks fantastic.
Or I might have, I'm not sure.
It has Mime Professional catching up with the helicopter that has Lay Mime on it.
Yeah, no, I did not see that yet.
Okay, so
I'm definitely going to look for
that's a spoiler for Elias, so we won't talk about that one yet. Page number 4 will be posted this coming week, and it looks great. In Kickstarter news, everything is going to be ordered this week.
Right on.
So the PDFs, I was hoping to send them out last weekend, but I wasn't able to because I did find some parts that I thought the lettering needed just a little bit more work. And, you know, I want this to be perfect, or as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
Before I send out to everybody. So tomorrow, after I get some rest from the con, I'm going to take one last swing at the lettering, make sure everything reads as well as possible. And then I'm going to be sending the PDF out to all you wonderful backers. And then it's off from there, off to the printer. The metal prints will be ordered up. I need to send out the backer surveys so I know what metal print everyone wants, and to find out what T-shirts everyone wants.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know which one I want.
Yeah, well, you got some time to look it all over. You know, the T-shirts could be ordered on Friday instead of Monday if I need to take a little extra time because all you guys are deciding which image you want.
Yeah. When they're just Ghost Assassin images, right?
No.
Oh.
If you're a Kickstarter backer, and this has been true for every Kickstarter I've done this far that has T-shirts as a reward level, I allow my backers to choose any Darkslinger image they want, except those that have been used as Kickstarter exclusive images.
Makes sense, yeah. Cool.
So, there are exclusive images that have appeared in previous Kickstarters that were used for alternate covers, things like that. And those images are completely off limits because those are exclusive to those Kickstarters.
Yeah.
But anything, with the exception of those, is totally in bounds. And, you know, you can do Ghost Assassin if you want. You can do Chronicles Von Helsing. You can do El Bovine Muerte, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you would like. Those will be ordered up, and the metal prints will be ordered up, get the raw editions ordered up.
And that goes with the prints, too, right?
Yes.
Cool. Nice.
So then after that, it is on to focusing on getting Chronicles Von Helsing all colored up.
Yes.
So that I can release the hardcover edition through Kickstarter at some point this year.
That's going to be awesome. Especially since we ran out of Volume 3.
Yes, I'm most likely going to have to do a reprint on issue number 2 and 3. Simplistically because I won't have enough stock to cover cons.
Well, and everybody wants to just buy all of them.
Yes,
right?
And it's a lot easier to sell them all as one pack, especially if people know that those 5 issues comprise the first volume.
Yeah.
And the hardcover coming out, I need to keep the momentum on Chronicles up, and the easiest way to do that is by being at shows where it's seen.
Yeah.
And so...
Is the Sally going to be in the hardcover too?
The Sally will be in the hardcover, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so the hardcover will contain colorized editions of issues number 1 through 5, plus a colorized version of the Sally story that Joel Kotajar did, with a brand new cover by Tony Morgan.
Oh, yeah, he said he wanted to redo the cover. That's going to be cool.
It's not redo. You're thinking of Alan Bennett,
actually. Oh, yeah.
No, the graphic novel itself will have a brand new cover by Tony Morgan. So a lot of times when you release a collected edition of something, you do it with a cover that appeared in the series somewhere.
Okay.
But one of the first images Tony roughed up for Chronicles Von Helsing was an image that I fell in love with and immediately thought, this is our collected edition cover. So now that it's time to do the hardcover, it's time to finish that cover. And it will be the cover for it. I think it will sell the story in an excellent way. And if you've ever seen me in real life, you've actually seen a sneak peek at this cover because I have a tattoo from the center of it on my right forearm. The vampire skeleton comes from that cover.
Nice. Right on.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
Can't really think of anything. I'm just super stoked for more cons.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of cons coming up. And I'll be setting up the Patreon shortly, which will be for El Bovine Muerte and the podcast. I'm still investigating the best ways to use Drip by Kickstarter, and I still hate that name.
What the hell is Drip?
Okay, do you know what Patreon is?
No.
Okay.
I was going to make a Patron joke, but...
It is... It's a website that is similar to Kickstarter and that is crowdfunding, but what it is subscription-based crowdfunding. So say you really, really like El Bovine Muerte, and even though you can get it for free, you would like to contribute something monetarily to keep it going.
Yeah.
So you can say, I want to pay $1 a month to keep El Bovine Muerte going through Patreon, and then they will take $1 out of your account every month, or $2 or whatever you set to be the amount.
Yeah.
And just like Kickstarter, you set up rewards for it. But unlike Kickstarter, Patreon has a very strong slant towards trying to get you to offer as many digital goods as possible. So on Kickstarter, you're encouraged to think about things that don't require any shipping like digital rewards.
Yeah.
But Patreon, you know, they actually strongly make the suggestion that that's what you put your focus on, and don't try to focus on sending out a bunch of physical rewards.
Yeah.
There are people who do, though. There are lots of people who do. But the things you can offer are actually pretty simple to do on the creative end, and can make your backers feel pretty special. But, you know, they're also just small thank yous for being a backer. Like, a common one for webcomics seems to be that if you're a backer on a webcomic, you get to see it a day before anyone else does.
Oh.
Or 2 days before anyone else does.
That's kind of cool.
And you get access to a blog that is backers only. So only your backers can see these images, right?
Right on.
So Drip seems to be pretty much exactly like Patreon. I don't actually see what the difference is so far.
Other than a horrible name.
Yes. So Kickstarter actually purchased a company that was called Drip. And the company itself was going out of business, but I'm guessing Kickstarter thought that they could take the IP, rework it a bit, relaunch it as something that was tied into Kickstarter, and make a real go out of it, which they very well might be able to.
Yeah.
But this is a space that Patreon has already been in and owned to a large degree for quite some time. So I kind of think if Kickstarter wants to dethrone Patreon on their turf, so to speak, you know, they better be bringing their A game, because these guys already know what this particular type of crowdfunding is like, and it's obviously not the forte of Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping is that Drip is another positive model for getting monetary compensation for being a creator.
Yeah.
But what I'm worried about is that Kickstarter buying Drip and doing this whole thing with them is just like how eBay goes through businesses. eBay buys up businesses and pretty much crashes them.
Oh.
So, you know, Half.com was a very, very thriving website up until the day that eBay decided they wanted it. And then they destroyed it. You know, it easily could have been the biggest rival to Amazon. But eBay destroyed it. And why? Why would you destroy something that you bought? I don't know. But the most simplistic answer is because your board of directors or your CEO or whatever does not understand running those particular companies.
Yeah.
That's my thought. So, in any case, I discussed this before with Robert on the podcast when Drip was first announced, that when I hear the word Drip, what it makes me think of is someone who has chlamydia.
Right?
And when I said that to Robert, he didn't know what I was talking about and asked, you know, why that would be the case. And I told him because, you know, they used to call chlamydia the drip. But he didn't quite get that reference, and he said he had never heard it. But anyway.
Well, I got it. So.
I still think sexually transmitted disease whenever I hear this.
Right?
So yeah, in any case, I'm going to be spending some time investigating the differences between the two. And I'm contemplating when Drip goes into full live mode, because I'm not quite positive if it's still an invite-only thing at the moment. But I am contemplating setting up both a Patreon and a Drip, because quite frankly, that's the easiest way to tell what all the differences are. I know what it's like to sell on both eBay and Amazon because I've done both. If I had never done both, I want to know that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to learn all the differences. And, you know, if one just ends up being so much better of a resource for monetary compensation, then obviously you're going to put more focus on that.
Oh, yeah.
But even if you're just pulling enough off of each of them to pay for a few pages of artwork a month, to me, that's a win.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about what your goal is. And while some amounts may seem really small to some people, it can really help people get whatever their creative endeavor is out.
Oh, yeah.
So even $50 extra a month can do a huge amount when you're paying artists to create your work.
Oh, yeah. Well, and not only that, but, like, it helps get the name out in other ways, too.
Exactly.
Get the word out, not the name.
Yeah. From what I understand, Kickstarter is really selling Drip as a community building tool to build community around yourself prior to launching a Kickstarter, or is a resource for continuing to earn an income in between your Kickstarters. So, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong at all with that idea. I am just wondering how it differs from Patreon.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I can't really find a whole lot that tells me it does. So we're going to cut this podcast short today because we've never done one in the car before. And I want to see how it turns out before I decide if we're doing any more. So we're going to call it at a half hour today. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week. We should have quite a few announcements coming for conventions in 2018. Find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Google+. I'm Adam Watson.
And Elias Spainhauer.
Thank you for listening.